Live? And we are live. Mr. Rollback Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about you, sir? How are you doing?
I am doing just fine. Now that we're here, we're all good, we're ready to chit chat, and I'm excited because you messaged me earlier this week, and I don't remember exactly what you said, but it was something to the effect of, you always interview people, but nobody ever interviews you, so I want to interview you.
Oh, yeah. I thought, why not do something different? I mean, it's only fitting that we get to interview you, find out a little more about, you know, you. So, but yeah, why not? Couldn't hurt. So I actually got a little list.
Let's do it. I am an open book. I'm excited for this because I didn't have to prepare. I'm just like, all right, we're going in. Let's
Yeah,
go.
sit back, relax. I was gonna wear my beanie to fit in with you, but I chose not to.
That's okay.
But so how things been? Like, you been good?
Yeah. Stuff is so busy and crazy right now just because we just moved, and moving is insane, especially when you're moving everything. And
Uh-huh.
then just the insanity of contests and events, like, contest this past weekend, contest or event this weekend, one weekend of a break, then a contest the next weekend. So it's like just madness going on. And then it's getting warmer, so it's
Oh
ride.
yeah. Yeah, trust me. I worked for a moving company for 7 years. I know all about moving people. I know the chaos that can happen, the things you try not to break, but you're gonna break them anyway. Everything.
I think I might have made it through. I was like, I tried to be smart about it, and like, I tried to make it so that we had no cardboard boxes. We just bought totes. Like, I'm never dealing with cardboard boxes. If it goes in a tote, it can stay in a tote, and it'll be just fine.
Exactly. Trust me. Like, it's always something. But so I guess I'll just run through it. Like I said, I do have a little list of randomness for you.
Let's hear it.
All right. So uh, I guess I'll start out with one. It's a pretty simple one. At least I think it is. So with your channel and everything. You
Mm-hmm.
got people from all over who watch. You got people from overseas, people here, people there, people in every state. So my question, I think, would be, well, because you cater to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
young, old, mid school. You pretty much cater to every group, I think,
Okay.
and you make everything very accessible, whether it be a trick tip to a how-to to anything. How do you maintain keeping that up? Like, how do you keep it fresh without repetitious, keeping without repeating yourself, and keep it up with like every like age group? You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be hard because with today's standards, everybody's got their standards nowadays, and it's hard to keep up with everything.
Man, that's a really good question. And I guess the answer to that is just that I do what is interesting or fun for me. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not consciously thinking about the keeping up side of things. It's more of like, oh, this is a fun idea. I want to do that. Or, I mean, a good example is 2 nights ago, I did a podcast with Large Ray, who's integral part of the scene in like the 80s, 90s, and just that generation of rider. But then this weekend, I'm going to the Next Generation Jam in Pittsburgh, which is a jam specifically catered towards kids under the age of 17. And so it just kind of lines up that something cool that popped up for the older generation is right before something that is literally for the next generation.
Yeah. I mean, you do pretty good handling all these things, man. I mean, you do for keeping it well rounded. You mix it up with the new. I mean, the new school kids know who you are. The mid school guys know you are. You know who you are. Even the older guys. I mean, you cater to everybody, really. I mean, of all the YouTube channels, I mean, Vital BMX tried it. You had, Our BMX, Ride BMX, all the BMXs that you can think of, BMX Plus magazines and stuff. It's hard to keep up with that stuff, dude. But I like to think you pretty much stay to your own and you do a good job at it.
So I think another part of that might be just the fact that, like, when it comes to BMX, I want to do everything I possibly can and make BMX my entire life in every single way possible. So it's like everything is awesome to me and I'm stoked about everything. So it's not like, something comes up and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do anything to do with that. Like Flatland, for example.
Yeah.
I'm not around Flatland a lot and I don't understand it, but I'm not like I feel like with some people that could easily make them just not as inclined to just cover Flatland because it's just not part of their life, and if you don't think about it, you don't do it. And so like, but for me, when I see Flatland, I'm like, oh my god, this is the craziest thing ever, because I just love BMX so much. I see it, I'm like, this is insane. So I'm like, I have to film Flatland and film whatever.
But you know what though? I believe that you do put more Flatland in than you think, because you got people like Trevor and Jeff and everybody when they're doing their front brake stuff or their nose man. I mean, especially Trevor, he does everything.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
it was kind of just a example, because I definitely have grown to be like, oh, Flatland is around. I don't get to be around Flatland that often, so I'm like intentionally like getting in there and making sure that I guess another stem that would come off of with this question. This is such a multifaceted question, because another thing at the core of it is that I come from a position of like, I'm in Ohio. There's a lot of events and things that go on, and there have been so many scenarios where if I didn't film the event, nobody was there filming the event. So if I don't document it, it lives for that day, which is amazing. Living in the moment for that day is awesome. But for all of the people who a year or 2 years later go, oh, I want to go back and watch this event, or like a great offshoot of that is just like there's a street jam in Akron that this guy Curtis would put on, and then unfortunately he was in a motorcycle accident and passed away, and they kept the jam going. And if I hadn't filmed and covered when he started it and the two that I think he got to do before that happened, like people who are close to him who keep this event alive, I don't remember if anybody else filmed those days, but like if they didn't, those people who are close to him wouldn't be able to go back and see that first couple times where he was there and running everything. It's like, so I have this, if not me, who? And if the answer is nobody, then like I can't let that exist. I feel a responsibility.
And also by covering the events, you're also showing it to new people or new riders from Ohio or surrounding states that can come to whatever jam, whether it be at the Nowhere compound to your Changa to Ray's. Because of the amount of coverage you have at these places, it brings new riders out, and I think it's very informative the way you do it.
Thank you. I try my best, and when I'm at an event like that, I got a FaceTime that came in. I have to let them know I was in a podcast. And when I'm at events like that, I've grown to be pretty conscious of capturing like everybody, because I remember and recognize what it feels like to be watching an event coverage video that you were at, and then you see yourself and you're like, oh, that's so sick, and then think like, man, imagine being like a 10-year-old kid and you did something cool, and then you see it in the video with all the adults and the people you look up to. It's like there's certain things like that where I'm very conscious of just capturing everyone.
And you do a good job at it.
Thank you. I do my best. And I think it's a combination of all of those things, and just trying to just do what is fun, cool, and interesting to me.
Well, your best is all we ask of you, Brant. Good job, sir.
Thank you.
um, so speaking of channels, just out of curiosity, what channels do you watch, like outside of like your own and other, like what channels are you watching, or what do you favor? And on top of that, channels such as like our BMX and stuff, do you feel like you have to watch some of those more often to keep up with things? Because I know like you have your own thing where you know, I've seen you put up like, hey, this happened today and or yesterday in BMX. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna answer this in two ways. The inside BMX stuff and the outside of BMX stuff, because I subscribe to way more non BMX stuff than I do BMX stuff on YouTube. And I watch way more non BMX stuff than I do BMX stuff. So, for example, like I used to watch Scotty every single day, like when they were in the incline club days and
Yeah.
all of that was going on. I was watching them pretty much every day, just to watch. And like I used to watch most of Spencer Forsman's videos, and nowadays I don't know if I watch very much BMX stuff at all. That's like the YouTube channels. I see some of this. I mean, I see what our BMX posts. I see what Dig BMX posts, and if there's something that's like interesting or cool or fun to me, I'll watch it.
Oh yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
for the most part, it's mostly just outside of BMX stuff that I'm watching, unless I see something that catches my
Well,
eye.
I see you and Victoria always go to like concerts and stuff. Is it more band stuff you follow, or
Oh, get ready. Oh, get ready, because there is a range.
between the two of you on Instagram? I see you guys always at Under Oath concerts and stuff.
Well, there's that. I'll be honest, when it comes to music, I listen to podcasts more than I listen to music these days. I almost don't listen to music anymore in the car. Ever. Unless
Yeah.
she wants to, I'm pretty much not listening to music. And I think, to answer that part of things, I think that stems from the fact that driving is my only time in life where I have no responsibilities other than driving. So like,
Yeah.
when I'm driving, I think a lot, so I might not listen to anything. I'm just thinking, and I'm just whatever's going. It's almost like meditation. You're just the ideas and the thoughts are going in, and you're just kind of. If something's cool, I'll sit there and flesh it out and think about it a little bit more. If not, it just flows out, and it's literally like meditation. But for the most part, when I'm driving, I like to listen to podcasts and like stuff that is interesting, where I'm like learning something, or it's with an interesting person who does something really cool and they're talking about what they do, stuff like that. So that's what I listen to. I don't really listen to music as much, but when it comes to the stuff that I actually watch, so first I'll just run through. I only have 248 channels that I subscribe to on YouTube.
Oh, just only. That's good.
I feel like that's a lot. So there's a channel that does like comedy skits. There's a show that they used to make called The Online Gamer, which was just about this guy who was gonna be a lawyer, or he was a lawyer or something like that, and then his girlfriend bought him an Xbox and Call of Duty when she went away for the weekend, and so he played it over the weekend, and when she gets back, he's like down the rabbit hole, obsessed with video games and Call of Duty, and just turns into a total like psycho about gaming. And they did so many seasons of it, and it was hilarious. So that's like one of those. Then there's Linus Tech Tips, and I really enjoy watching his stuff just because I love learning about the new technology that's coming out with things.
Oh,
and
yeah.
New graphics cards, even though I don't really get super into that stuff anymore, because since I got my newer computer. But like, newer graphics cards and stuff, and TVs and monitors and phones. Just all that stuff is super cool and interesting to me. Always has been. Uh,
Well, it keeps
then
you up to date on stuff too, so maybe you can use it yourself.
yeah, oh absolutely. And
Yeah,
then there's fishing stuff. John B. John B is a guy that I enjoy watching. He just is himself, and he tries to he does like kind of like fishing vlogs, kind of like we do
yeah,
BMX riding videos where you just capture your day riding. He just captures his day fishing, but then sometimes he takes it to another level and is the damn it, I can't think of his name. What's his name? He traveled food. Oh gosh, he unfortunately committed suicide. Oh my god, why can't I think of his name?
you'll think of it when this is over. So
Somebody will put it in the chat for me. I can't believe I can't think of it. But he does videos where he'll like go to another city and he'll have an objective of a place to fish, and then he'll go and he'll eat food locally in that area, and it's just a really cool stuff like that. And then there's a couple other fishing channels like the Guggen Squad is his kind of crew of people. David,
yeah,
is it David? David something? Bourdain, Anthony Bourdain. Jesus God, why could I not think of that? He's kind of like, and he's said it before. He kind of like tries to do the Anthony Bourdain of fishing type videos sometimes, and then there's times where he's literally just taking a kayak with his filmer and another kayak down 10 miles down a river for a weekend, and they're staying in tents. It's cool stuff because I don't know how many people know, but I am an outdoors person too, where I'm like, I hunt, I fish, I do
yeah.
that outside stuff, and it's awesome. So there's that.
Well, that's good though. It's good to hear you got to like you're not just specifically just watching BMX videos. It's good to know that because some people I think get the wrong impression where they think because you run BMX channels, that's all your life involves.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like there's a truth to it, but there's also it shows that you're not just focused on one thing. You have other things going on.
Oh yeah, I have depth as a person.
So this way, when we see you out in public, now we can go, hey, remember that channel you were discussing the other day?
Oh yeah, I mean, literally a perfect example of this is like last week on Thursday, I have my trap shooting league, which is like skeet shooting, where you have a
Uh,
team and we shoot as a team, and I had my best score ever, and I posted a picture of the score sheet. And at the Changa Jam this weekend, this dude Marty from Wisconsin, when I first saw him, he's like, "Oh, dude, good shooting on that thing." And I was like, "Oh, you shooting?" We just had a whole conversation about trap shooting and like and all of this stuff. And he talked about like the gun that I use and all kinds of different things around that. And it was just a cool conversation, and it all stemmed from me just posting the picture of my score sheet, and he knew what that was. So it's cool that way. Continuing on here, I follow a lot of crypto channels. I've never talked about anything to do with crypto, but I'm deep in the world.
oh, I feel like you're about to now.
Nope. We're just gonna keep going because I don't feel like it's necessary. It's just like
no,
uh,
I wouldn't bring it up. But
I'm
all right,
in
well,
that world. I'm curious about that world. I still have more channels. We ain't done with this yet. So then there's another one I followed for literally like 10 years, Corridor Crew. They just make short videos on YouTube using visual effects, and lately they got super popular for doing a series called Visual Effects Artists React, where they would just
yeah.
sit on a couch and watch good and bad VFX shots from like Marvel movies or any other movies that have that. And then they got
Oh
so
yeah.
popular that they started to have people who worked in the studios on some of the shots that they were talking about in the show with them sitting on the couch. And it's just the coolest thing ever to have like the dude who was the visual effects supervisor for Deadpool on the couch with
Oh,
these
that's
guys talking
that's so
about.
cool to see that though.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
so interesting because I went to school for cinematic arts. Like that's I mean, that's where things are at for me. So it's really interesting to watch that type of stuff. And then they do other fun things. Like the video I just watched today was they were competing to make the most satisfying video that they could using 3D like rendering.
Oh, yeah.
It was just cool. So there's stuff like that. You know, the typical BMX channels, like I subscribe to Our BMX, Snakebite BMX. Snakebite's awesome because they post older stuff every day, pretty much.
Do any of these major like YouTube channels that you're watching, do any of them subscribe back to you, such as like Our BMX or Dig or?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Our BMX and Dig do. I honestly don't know. I try to consciously like not look into stuff like that because to be totally honest, I just like don't care. I try to not let it affect what I do.
Yeah, it's like Googling yourself. It's kind of like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so
sometimes you don't want to know the news that's already on there.
Right, and then there's like Marquez Brownlee. He's a tech guy. He's super good. The King of DIY is a fish channel, but a totally different type. He's literally making like aquariums, and he's talking about his
cool
fish.
Stuff though.
Oh yeah, it's super sick. Like there's a thing in Ohio, in Strongsville, called the Ohio Fish Rescue, where they literally have like hundreds of thousands of gallons of water total, like of all the fish tanks in the house. And this dude like literally had an indoor pool that he turned into a fish pond for giant fish. And the whole concept is when people have fish, they get too big for their aquarium. They have to do something with it. So the Ohio Fish Rescue goes and picks these fish up and keeps them until they can like relocate them into a aquarium somewhere, or someone who has the means to keep a fish like that.
That's awesome. I mean, like, that's good. It shows that people care still in the world. Like, because with all the negativity you see everywhere, when you see stuff like that, it's good to see people still caring. You know what I mean? About even animals and stuff.
Oh yeah. Then I'm just going to keep going through these because they're fun. So there's another guy I've been watching for probably like 10 years. His channel is Syndicate. He's just a gaming channel, but he had a vlog channel too. And it's just interesting to watch that type of stuff. There's a lot of channels in here, or there used to be, I kind of stopped following a bunch of them, that are catered to like the back end of YouTube, where it's like the stuff that goes into trying to make good videos and optimize what you're doing the best you can. And I guess to keep this not the entire podcast here, I'll just like go and read a few more of the names. Like, you know, I subscribe to Dan's Comp, Brian Fox. There's more tech channels. Camp Kenan Harkin. Kenan has a YouTube channel where he's got reptiles. He's got a backyard pond. It's just cool. And I found Kenan before I ever even knew that he had anything to do with BMX, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Let's see. There's actually quite a few BMX channels in here. They just hardly any of them post because there's a lot of people that are just my friends.
Yeah.
Continuing on. The scene's not dead.
I got a couple of friends channels that are like that. I mean, it's fun to see that, you know.
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
Sometimes that little space between certain kind of videos is good to see. You know what I mean? It's just good for like a little break, because when you see it again, it's exciting.
Yep. There's a couple really cool ones. One's the Hacksmith, and then another one called Alex Lab, where they're literally just doing super crazy engineering type videos, where the Hacksmith dude's like trying to eventually make a real life Iron Man suit, and so is the Alex Lab guy, and that stuff's just so fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that I feel like comes from a lot of the cosplay stuff that people are doing. Cosplay's really opened up the doors for a lot of just costumes.
It's like a whole nother level of that. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, dude, when I'm going through this, most of the people I subscribe to are just my friends that don't post. Honestly,
hey, that's
it's
how it is
funny.
Sometimes. Well, here, I'm going to trail off a little bit from that kind of thing. Can we move on to something else? This is my interview with you. You're supposed to be listening to me.
I know, but I'm keeping it going. Smarter Every Day. I just want to get to the bottom of it. Smarter Every Day is an amazing channel everybody should watch just to be smarter every day. And that's kind of the last one I guess I could talk about. There's Math Channel that I follow on here. There's so much.
That's cool though. I'm good. At least you have a variety of stuff. Not everybody can say that. Some people are very, no, it's got to be this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna move on to something else on the list. All right. Doesn't matter who it would be with. I know you just got on S&M and Fit. You've been on Nowhere for a while and everything.
Yeah.
If you could choose, doesn't matter what brand you pick, if someone were to offer you your own signature part, what would it be and why? Like, okay, I remember years ago when Sean McKinney was working at S&M, and he was my sales rep.
Yeah.
And he told me, now, that man was insane just to talk to begin with. He said some wild things. If I ever had to order a frame, he'd be like, well, what do you like in your rear end?
Yeah.
And shit like that.
Oh, okay.
But he told me, if I ever got a signature part from a company, I would want a signature inner tube because it would always sell. And he said he would name it the fallopian tube. He said they would be pink. I was like, okay.
Gosh, that's funny.
I used to think that was the funniest thing in the world, but like, I figure with all your brake stuff, I figure you want like a signature brake lever or brake pad or or something. I mean,
I mean, Nowhere already makes the 4-piece bars. I don't need to have like those be a signature thing. The Venus hub with Alienation is like my dream hub, and I helped design it. So like and there's like a signature colorway that's mine, but not necessarily, it's not my hub, but I like look at it like it's my hub.
You helped pioneer it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's brakes coming out from Alienation that the whole entire thing was my idea from the very beginning. Like I came up with the thought process behind it, the things to do with it. I asked a bunch of people, so like those are kind of happening. I mean, I'm not sure.
If you had to pick one if you really want it,
I'm trying.
I mean, it could be a grip. It could be a bar end. Like I said, like I feel like, I hate to say it, but I feel like McKinney was onto something when he said to get a signature too, because there's not something no people aren't going to order.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I think because of the stuff that already exists, I'd have to either say, I mean, a frame would be so amazing. See, someone said signature ice pick peg. Alienation makes pegs that I had the input on that are exactly what I would want. So it's like they already exist. It's crazy. I think it'd be like a frame because it's Fit and S&M, a Fit S&M frame that's made in America, weld on brake mounts. It's got welded on cable guide, whatever that, or because this is something that just, it seems like nobody makes in BMX anymore, a 33 millimeter thick grip, because there's no thick grips out there that are super comfortable that you can just get your hands on anymore.
I feel like the last good one I had that was about that diameter was the old Corey Martinez Primo grip, if you remember that. The barcode, I think it was.
The Duo Martinez grips are 32, but it's like you can't get them. And then...
Yeah, I know.
Odyssey made the Dugan grips, which those were 32, and those are on my front brake bike, and I've set my front brake bike up on a trainer today, so I was riding on it, and it has the Dugan grips, and I'm like, God, why don't they make something like this anymore?
Doesn't Eastern have a thick grip now? It's like called the Elephant grip.
I'll have to, let me look.
I think it's called the Elephant grip. It's like real thick. I think it's by Eastern. I might be wrong.
Eastern grip. 35 millimeters, but it's not.
Yeah, I know.
See, the problem with it is that it needs to be the same pattern as like a similar pattern to like the ODI, because that pattern is just so comfortable but thicker. The Hoder grips are really, really comfortable and they're almost thick enough, but need something just like 1 millimeter thicker for just what I don't know. There's something about that, because I have the Credence grips on my park bike now that I built up, and when I'm riding it, I can't tell if it's that my bars feel like they're in the wrong place or the grips are thinner and it just feels wrong.
I can see that.
So
Yeah.
I would say
Like,
a grip or a frame, just because a frame's the kind of thing that's like, I never even dreamed of having a frame ever as a kid or growing up riding. But now that there's like, maybe potential for that one day, I'm like, dude, that would be insane.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what even I would pick. Like, if I had to, I have no idea what I would pick. I don't know. I go through tires pretty quick. Maybe I do a tire or something.
Tires are tough because you'd really have to. I mean, think about what would go into designing the tread for a tire and making sure that it's good for riding scenarios.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's like there's all these little factors that you gotta worry about the sidewall. Like, there's what kind of threading you want and all that. Whether you want it Kevlar, is it worth doing Kevlar?
Tires are
'Cause I
complicated.
yeah, I mean, I have a problem with Kevlar. I have a problem with warping Kevlar tires really, really bad.
I used to. I used to have that problem.
And like, because with wire bead, when you could do a slider trick and it just goes back. But with Kevlar, it's like a shirt. You stretch it too much, it doesn't go back. And I used to do like sliders to they completely warp my front wheels from doing it all the time.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, so I used to, every single folding tire that I ever rode, I put a hole in it in like a month. And then ever since I started riding and these new 2.25 alienation tires came out,
Mhm.
I have not messed up a single one of those before needing to replace it because of tread wearing out. Like,
Yeah.
just going through the tread all the way.
Yeah, our buddy Aaron, he's riding the alienation ones. What are they called? The Prowler.
Yeah, Prowler lights are the ones that I ride.
Yeah, he's rocking those. Actually, he's in the chat now. He's
Aaron
But,
W.
yeah. What's up, Aaron?
Aaron Wiener.
Yeah, I know. There you go. If he gets a signature grip, it's gotta look like a wiener.
The Wiener grips.
We'll call it the wiener grip with the I don't know. We gotta have a barn that goes with it.
the dick grip. The
dick grip. It's Aaron's dick grip. But you gotta be careful putting on. You gotta use a lot of lube.
It's the grick.
Yep.
It's the gricks. I got my new gricks.
I can see them selling so fast now. What colors they come in? Well, they come in Caucasian, black. If you want them the extra long ones, you got to get the black one.
Oh, Jesus God! Let's not go there.
I know.
That's funny though.
All right. Well, have you thought about international traveling? Like, and I don't mean like to Canada because it's right there for you. I mean, like, have you thought, hey, let's get Brant more to Adrenaline Alley over in England, like, something like that? Have you considered it? Has it ever come up?
I mean, I would love to do that, but I just have not been, like, if I ever get in a financial position where I'll be, all right, like, I could do that, I would just absolutely love to make something like that happen. Like Battle of Hastings. I would love to go to Battle of Hastings. It's just, if I went to Battle of Hastings, I just couldn't, it's the kind of thing you can't afford it.
No, I know. It's not cheap to do all that.
Yeah.
We got to start a GoFundMe for Brant to get overseas.
I got to get a passport first. I don't even have a passport yet.
We'll start the Brant Moore Overseas Foundation. We'll see how we can get you over there. We'll get you somewhere fun. But, I mean, that'd be kind of cool, though. I mean, just to
amazing.
See. Like I said, doesn't have to be. I just said Adrenaline Alley because that's the first thing that came to mind. But I mean, they have other good parks over there. I mean, it'd be great just to see like an international thing. I mean, not now. It could be anytime.
Yeah, I would love to go and ride with Tom Justice and Alan Sibley. Alan is that 50-year-old guy who he's just incredible. He just so much 5-tap stuff, and it's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, The one person, if I ever got to go overseas, I would love to ride with just one time to say I could ride with him. Would be what's his name, Nicky Croft. I
Oh yeah.
That dude. If you watch his parts from 10 years ago, pegless and a gyro on street, doing wall ride to bar spins and whips on stuff you kids today would go, "There's no way I'm doing it." Dude, he was
Wow.
doing it. He was doing it. Like, anyone in the chat, look to him up. Nicky Croft. That dude will. Oh man, that dude's so. And he plays metal music while he's riding. He's like bone deaf before bone deaf.
Nice.
Like, that dude is awesome. I gotta say. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, if you had ever considered, you know what I mean, international. That's all. I mean, something just to
If
curious.
I could, like, if money was no object, I would literally plan a trip out and just go.
Yeah. Where would you go? The first country that comes to mind, where would you go? It could be Australia.
I would have it be a tour. I would have it be a tour. So I would go.
We'll call it the Brant Euro trip.
I would go to the UK, and I would first go ride with Rob Ridge.
Hell yeah.
I would hit up Rod and be like, "Hey man, I'm not even gonna ask you to get on a plane. I'm coming to you," because I guess he has a thing where he won't fly. And then in that, I would ride with Alan Sibley and Tom Justice. I believe they are in a similar area. And one more. I'm not sure. Just, I mean, doing it surrounding Battle of Hastings. And then go to Battle of Hastings last. That would be the UK tour.
Well, we got to make that happen. We got to find a Brant Euro trip, UK tour,
company
2024.
Some company wants to sponsor the trip and be the presenting sponsor of the videos that come from it. Hit me up. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll get American Airlines to send you.
Hey, that'd be a sick sponsor, though.
Oh, hell yeah. You know who I've always wondered has never sponsored anything, and I don't know why. I feel like it would be a perfect sponsor, especially in action sports. Band-Aid.
I think they just probably... So I think the thing with companies like Band-Aid or companies that make Band-Aids is that they are so big that they don't need us.
But you think that'd be a cool thing, though. You know what I mean? Like don't go to the Rite Aid brand. Make sure you pick Band-Aid. You know?
And you've got, like, the person on the Band-Aid.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. And then you could put... Yeah, have the Brantmore Fufanu aid.
Yeah.
But when your fingers get too many calluses on, put that on. It's to be the Brantmore cushion.
There we go. Oh, yeah, Disabled Dan. I would go see Disabled Dan, too, in my UK tour.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well... So we're gonna get a little more personal now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The open
book. Hey, we said we were getting into this.
Let's do it.
All right. So how is it traveling with Victoria? Is it fun? Does she enjoy the traveling? Does she? Because everybody knows who she. You guys have been together how long?
This year in May, next month it'll be 11 years.
Yeah, I mean. That's a long time. I mean, like, does she enjoy all the traveling? I'm sure she loves it. I mean, I think the traveling. But the question I think I'm getting is there anything aspect of the whole of you doing your channel that it becomes an issue, or that is there like anything where like you can't go anywhere without someone recognizing you, like at events? Does that get on her nerves? Like you just can't have a moment to yourself to have a cheeseburger at an event.
To be totally honest, she makes everything easier to do. Like we just that's our life. Like I don't know if we've ever taken a trip that didn't have BMX involved in it, and she's never once complained about it or anything like that. And it's like I'm to the point where I would rather go on a trip with just her than like have a car full of 5 other people, because I've learned over time, and that's what happens basically, is that over time, you find out that it's literally like easier to do things that way, because
Mhm.
when you don't have four other people that all have to agree on something, or you have to figure out where you're going to go and what you like, you got to work around four other people's schedules and things
Yep.
like that. When it's just the person that you live with and she's just as into everything as you are, it just works and it's so much nicer. And another thing I got to get at before I forget about it is there's a saying that if you want to find out if someone is the right person for you, get in a car and
Mhm.
drive across the country with them.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
we've done that.
I've been with my wife now for 19 years. I mean, not married. We've been married for will be 10 years. We've been married 9, but it'll be 10 this upcoming year.
Yeah.
And but it's like there's times where I know she gets annoyed. Like we'll be going somewhere, and she'll look at me and she's like, "You're looking at that rail, aren't you?" No, 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 I'm not.
That's
And she
funny.
knows what I'm doing. Like just little things like you like I know what you think. And I just it's some when you get lucky. I said like you pretty much hit a good jackpot with her. I mean,
Well, it was kind of intentional. I was, 11 years ago at this point, but I was like, I am not getting into a relationship with somebody until I know that it is 100% the right person.
yeah,
Hands down, there's like no other option of someone who's not into it as like who's gonna be that whole like, oh, I gotta ask if I can go ride, or oh, we gotta plan, or like, you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
when we go on trips, it's like, all right, we're gonna have at least 1 or 2 beach days because that's her thing, and she wants to go to the beach and do her mermaid pictures and all of that, and it's a balance, obviously, but like it she just makes everything easier and is behind everything 10,000%. I will rub it in her face until the day we die that she laughed that when I made my first penny on YouTube. And I was super excited about it and she laughed. But if like
but yeah, I mean, you got someone good. Like when you, not everybody can say that. You know what I mean? Not
oh,
everybody's happy.
I could not be more grateful, and that's it's the best thing ever. She's the best. It's pretty simple.
She's gonna she's gonna watch this back later. Go, yeah, you damn right.
I don't know. She watches some things, but not all of them. I don't know if she'll watch this or not.
What are you looking behind you for? You scared?
I can't hear anything. Like the door could open and I wouldn't know it. She could be like in here listening. I wouldn't have any idea. But yeah, man, it's just it could not be any easier, smoother, or and like she even helps film things a lot of the
Oh
times.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's great. I mean, like you got a camera woman, you got someone keeping you in line, you got, you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
huge
oh,
too. I meant to talk about that too. Like there have been a lot of times where like I was in a bad mood or out of it or just, whatever the situation might be, and like she's reminding me of the situation of like, hey, like this is reality, like you gotta,
yeah. I mean, like, do you guys ever just take a break from filming? Like, just take a break, just you and her. Like I know you upload pretty frequently. Have you ever just not thought about, you know what? I'm gonna take this whole week. We're not gonna upload. Just you and her. Do I don't know.
we did something kind of like that before, and if we're gonna do something like that, I just edit like however many days I need to in advance and upload everything and just have everything scheduled
Yeah, the schedule.
so
Yeah,
I have my stuff to go up every single day still, but I don't have to mess with it.
that's good though. I mean, like I say, at least you're thinking ahead. Not everybody thinks ahead that way.
I feel like I just have to.
Yeah, that's good though. Well, like, so have you ever thought about? All right, let's say for whatever reason, like the channel is not doing like it used to could do. You know, you're getting older. Things aren't. Do you have a backup plan for like outside of the YouTube stuff? Like, do you have it? I mean, like I know you say you went to school and everything. Like, do you have a backup plan for? I mean, sometimes someone, people take things the wrong way. They take, you know what I mean? Something's out of context, and people have lost their stuff doing that. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. I'd never wish that either. But should something come up, got a backup plan.
Well, I already have a part-time video job running
Yeah.
another like a YouTube channel uh, for a tractor manufacturer. So like that already, I could, if I needed to, there's stuff I could do. I could go and get a video job tomorrow with my resume and the qualifications that I have, and
Yeah.
like the fact that I graduated from college as the outstanding senior in cinematic arts, which is a thing that only one person of each major gets selected for, just like, and then the stuff that I've been able to do and have been lucky enough to be a part of, I could
Yeah.
go and I could find some type of thing, which is exactly what I did to get that part-time thing that I have now. So like I don't think about that far into the future, because I mean, it for me, I don't think about the YouTube thing. It took me up until like this past year to even start calling what I'm doing work. And I only do that for other people's sake, so they can understand that like
Yeah.
I'm working. Like, no, dad, I can't go help with something right now because I'm working. Like,
Working.
and
Yep.
and before I wouldn't call it that. I'm like, I'm editing videos or whatever, and so there's a distinction that needed to be made. But everything I do is just exactly what I would want to do and what I'd be doing even if I wasn't getting anything from it. And to be clear, like my YouTube channel isn't enough to support my bills, like to live off of. That's why
Oh yeah.
I do the other stuff that I do.
Yeah, but like I said, like, I mean, I'm just glad you're thinking, enough ahead. Like you live in the now, and that's good though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
So
just there's been this thing in my head forever where I'm just like not worried about any of that. I feel like I have this thing inside that is like, hey, it's gonna be fine. Like it's gonna work out exactly the way that it's supposed to, and you're gonna be just fine.
oh yeah. I mean, is there anything that you don't like putting on your channel? Like do you always strive away from? Is there something like specifically like you go, that's never going. We're not doing that on the channel. Like we're not doing this. We're not doing that.
Being fake at all, being produced, being any kind of like anything other than myself, being me authentically, like putting any kind of production into this thing that is not me. I mean, even if I was working with a huge brand and it had to have like guidelines behind it, I wouldn't even do it unless it was me being me, or if it had to be a certain way, it would be prefaced. It would be in the beginning of the video,
Yeah.
and it would be like, look, this is the way it had to be because these guys wanted to pay me a crap load of money, and like I had to take the money, but I'm being like me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's an integrity thing for me where I never want to feel like I'm doing something for any other reason than because I wanted to, or it felt right to me. And that's why I got to the point that, or that's why it took as long as it has to like get to where I am now, because I made this channel in 2015, and like I could have gotten things quicker, and I could have, done things differently,
Yeah.
and tried to really lean into to making things happen just by doing what it needed to happen, I guess you could say, and I just would
But you
never do
stayed.
it.
But you stayed you. But you stayed you, and that's all that matters, and that's what counts.
Yeah, that's one thing I will never do on there. If yeah, I can't be anything other than myself, and I can't feel like I'm putting on a production that is anything other than that.
Yeah. I mean, That's pretty cool. Though. I mean, like I said, like you think as much as you travel, you get a sponsorship from like Exxon or something for gas.
Dude, I tried to reach out to what is the RV rental one that whatever I tried, and it's just that stuff's so hard to make happen. Another thing I guess I could throw into this answer too is that like I cuss a lot outside of videos, but I try.
Dude,
Me
too.
I just naturally like try not to when it comes to filming videos. Not for any like monetization reasons or anything. It's just like I don't know. I just try to talk like I would around like family
Or kids, or like little kids or something.
Yeah, I try to just be conscious, even like at a skate park, when there's kids around, I'm trying to be conscious of who I'm around.
Turn into ABC Family.
Not kinda, but not really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you keep it like PG-13 at least.
Yeah, I try. And then when it comes to like other people, if I'm doing a podcast and someone's like, "Oh, I'll try not to swear," I'm like, "No, I don't care if you do it. You just be yourself."
Yeah, that's good. Like I said, I think a lot of people would be happy to say they're glad to have you around. They're glad to have all your informative, whether it be your trick tips to bike tech tricks to tips. God, I got so tongue tied there.
That's okay.
Too many T words. But yeah, I mean, like it's not. Everything you do, I think you don't realize how much people listen to your input, how much they, what's the word? There's a word for it, but like how much people soak up some of the things that you say, whether it be informative or just trying to teach or get a different perspective of whether it be BMX or a sport or anything. You have a different way of looking at things because you look at things from both sides. It could be a kid who's just got into it. You're looking at it from his point of view. This is how I just got started. I've seen you with little kids at this, on your videos where they just started and they're just excited to be around you, and you know what I mean? Like you help them. It could be anything like that. But a lot of people, you can't say that. I've seen people like just everyone's got a couple people at skate parks, that they've seen through Instagram, YouTube, whatever, and they're not always what they seem on But from everything I've gathered, there's nothing different about you from in person than in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a very like conscious thing that I've done is just that I am 1000% myself no matter what the scenario is. Even like and to go back quick to like talking about doing everything that I do and involving all of the different people and all of that stuff is like it all just comes from, and the trick tips and all the different types of videos, it all just comes from me wanting to do everything that I can possibly do in the BMX world, whether it's throwing jams or digging and riding trails, or I don't ride street a ton, but I love riding street. It's easier to go to a skate park than go to street, so I just end up at skate parks and ride because it's just easier to do. And then indoor parks and traveling and filming contests and tip videos, and literally like other than racing, I try to do and vert. But I love watching vert. I love filming people ride vert and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't ride it. But I just try to do everything that you can possibly do. Podcasts, like literally everything. I want to do everything that you can possibly do in the BMX world, and I want to help as many people as I can humanly possibly help in the process.
Just as long as you do it and you don't overload yourself, because there is such a thing as overdoing it.
See, I don't think it's possible because there's times where I'm like, oh my God, there's so much going on. But there was a point in time where I was doing a video every single day. I had that part-time thing that I was doing 3 days a week. I also edited photos for a women's clothing store, and then was also at the same time writing descriptions for this this BMX website that I think has finally been released at this point. But I was doing all 4 of those things every single week. And it was to the point where, like, this was before I ever even, like, right now I have time, and even when we're done with this, I'm probably going to hop on and play a little bit of Rocket League. But when I was in that point in my life, I was not playing any video games. I was working on something from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. And the only times I wasn't was when I was eating, riding, or doing something with Victoria. And it was so crazy that it was to the point where I would be editing pictures, this exact same desk setup in a different place, but I would be sitting here editing pictures like this and just like literally falling asleep and then go like that and keep editing. And it would be until I was either done or I could not physically stay up any longer, and I crawled myself over to my bed and went to sleep. And that is what, like, I was doing to just, I didn't have to do that. You know, like, I didn't have to do that, but, like, I had to do that. I don't know. It was weird, man. It's just, I don't know. Something.
But it's what you got to do. I mean, like I said, like, a lot of people do that, and you're doing everything you're doing. It's not unnoticed. I mean, there's a lot more your subscribers, all the guys in the chat right now and everything. I mean, everybody knows what you're capable of. They know what you're doing. They know. They know you're busting your ass. There, I cussed. Finally, I got a cuss on your channel. Monetized it. But yeah, they do. They know you're busting your rear. They know everything's. You're doing good.
Man, honestly, it's pretty surreal to, like, be where I am right now with the S&M and Fit stuff going on and everything in that side of that world, because for so long everybody was like, just keep doing what you're doing. And I asked a few people at times, like, hey, like, is there anything you think I could do better or different or anything like that? And everybody was constantly just like, just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm like, that's not what I want. Like, give me something. And then I just kept doing it. Well,
I think you got to change your background. You got to change the background. You got that Windows 97
That's
background.
Only what you see. That's only what you see. You are my background for everybody else.
I know. I see that. I know that. I'm looking at the chat and stuff.
Yeah, but people. So to get to what I was trying to get at with that is, like, people said that, and then it finally got, like, when it came to the whole S&M and Fit thing happening, and the code stuff with the affiliate thing with them, and seeing how many people were helped by that code, and then also having it help me at the same time, and everything that I'm starting to get involved with S&M and Fit, and helping, like, literally watching the impact on their YouTube channel with the things that I'm helping them, just optimizing their videos to do better for them, and just watching it happen in real time, and then working with Chris and Melissa. And this is like, you know, I feel like with a different company out there, I don't even know one off the top of my head. I feel like I could have worked in the same way with a different company out there and done all of the same things that I'm doing. Like, I have that Fit Complete, and I'm making the series with the Fit Complete. I have my bike that I ride at skate parks, and then I just build up an identical, like, I swapped out the frame and fork on my Trails bike with S&M parts.
Yeah.
And all of that happened in the span of 2 months. And, like, I feel like that could have happened with another company if I pursued it. But the fact that it happened, and it is happening with S&M and Fit being such legendary companies in BMX, with such legendary riders and such insane reputations, and just the things that they've done in BMX, and it is happening with them. It just blows my mind, and it feels like all of the things that I've been working towards led to that happening, and it's like, it's an insane feeling, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you should be proud of yourself, everything you've done. I mean, and I think I'd even say you changed a lot of things in the sense of the way other channels, I hate to use the word vlog, but you know what I mean, the way you talk to the camera and stuff, because everyone's got their own style, but I feel like a lot of people are starting to, I don't want to use the word copy, then copy's the wrong word, but they're starting to use your techniques, the way you hold the cameras different, because a lot of people hold the cameras down or up. You keep it very level.
Oh, really? That's a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just how I do it.
Yeah, like if you go back, anybody will tell, like, you watch the way your cameras are all, I don't have I'm just using my phone because it's here, but instead of being up here like a lot of people do, or down here, you're here. And as silly as that sounds, that matters.
I can see why, though.
Yeah, because we can see the background and everything, but like, instead of people trying to be surprised, you let people in on where you're actually at, what area and all that. Like,
well, then
you don't realize.
There's also the aspect of looking eye to eyes at people versus you have the camera looking down, you're looking up at somebody, or you're looking down. Here, you're eye to eye, face to face with whoever's watching.
Yeah, I mean that, or like if you're trying to get it from a person's perspective, yeah, if they're short, I mean, I can get from down here. but like, I like to think you do pretty good at, like, as simple as things like that, like the way when you're talking on the camera, it's the way you talk to it. You know what I mean? Like eye contact and everything. It actually feels personal rather than.
Well, I just realized, and that's a very conscious thing too, in that I realized, because when I first started my channel and was doing BMX stuff, I wanted to try and just become successful on YouTube in a way that I didn't talk to the camera. And then I realized, like, in order to have anything be anything, you have to make a personal connection with the people who are watching. And so that's when I started to talk to the camera, and it became like, when I'm filming just riding and stuff, I'm just being myself, talking how I would to anybody else. But when I'm doing tip videos and things of that nature, I am being very, very intentional with the way that I'm thinking and talking and trying to do and say everything in a understandable, concise manner, so that literally anyone can understand what I'm trying to say, and breaking things down to the most basic of form.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're doing good at it, though. Thank you. Like I said, like a lot of people, like I said, like, you watch how they hold cameras and just the approach. Your approach is consistent and in a good way.
Well, and another, I mean, when you talk about like influencing other people with that kind of thing, when I started my channel too, I really was intentional. I mean, I guess I'm here now, but I wanted to get to the point where I was successful enough on YouTube, getting paid by Google, which is like something holdings on my tax on the 1099 I get for my taxes, which is not the BMX industry. I wanted to be successful enough and not have zero reliance on the BMX industry, so that I could talk about the things that needed to be talked about in BMX. You know, talk about the types of things that people just wouldn't talk about, and all of the gatekeeping that would happen, and people avoiding certain topics for whatever reason. I'm like, we're done with that. We're going to talk about the things that need to be talked about, and we're going to stop holding back on things that like would help BMX but hurt the person, or that would potentially take away from the person who's saying it because it helps everybody else. So I was very, very conscious that I wanted to get to that point where I can talk about things and like just be real. I'm starting to see that type of an impact in just the whole affiliate stuff that I've got going on with S&M. And I've been talking about and preaching about it for years now because it is the future of BMX and how people earn from the companies that they ride for. Just because, and to give the people the rundown and the contrarians who are watching this being haters and want to go against whatever I'm saying, just to give those people the rundown, it's like, this is the way that you can monitor and see what riders are actually doing for the companies that they ride for. Because if they're doing their job, people are going to want, and they're going to naturally use their affiliate stuff, which when you do that, the rider gets paid from it. And there's so many aspects of that could just help BMX, because riders pushing the product of the companies they ride for intentionally because it helps them and they make money from it, helps the companies, which in turn is going to help BMX and help us do more cool stuff. And then this another topic of things that people didn't like to talk about or just went with whatever echo chamber they were in was the whole concept of like outside sponsorship from like companies and corporations and all of these things, and all these people who are like, corporations are the worst thing ever for BMX. They come in and just try to make money and whatever. And it's like, well, if you have a perspective of like all of BMX and every single rider should gain from that, then sure, maybe that's terrible. But what you're failing to see is that like the rider who's involved with that company gets to eat, they get to support their family, they get to do cool trips, they get to do whatever stuff. And if they think about it consciously, they can do contest or a jam with this corporation and do something awesome for BMX with it. And that's one of the things I would talk about too. So to wrap all of that up is just like, I knew from the very start I wanted to get here where I could talk about all those things in a way that I didn't give a damn what the rest of BMX thought about it, because whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like, because there was what was it, years ago when, I think it was, what was it, Levi's? That was, I guess, like, our first big, would you say that's like a big sponsor?
Corporation.
Yeah, because I remember there was a thing, and they were talking about, they were the first ones to really offer insurance to their riders. Yeah. Because I remember there was an interview, I think it was with like Bestwick and Wade or something like that. I think it was them. And they were talking about that. They were like, one of the biggest things Levi's offered them was insurance, and they were like, that was the they couldn't wait for it.
Yeah, that's a huge thing too, and just like the money that can come from a larger corporation or company being involved with a rider can allow them to be able to afford to get their own insurance. And one thing, I'm going to say this every time insurance comes up, make sure people, like if you are a rider getting support from a company and you don't make a lot of money, make sure you go to that healthcare government website and put in your info and put the fact that you don't have access to healthcare through employer on there, because there's a good chance that they're going to give you a pretty sizable or some kind of break on it, and it could help you to get real health insurance to where like we don't have to rely on like the fact that BMX as a whole is so supportive of riders, in that if somebody gets hurt and they need a GoFundMe, everybody gets on and wants to help with that. But like if we could prevent that from having to be a thing because riders are okay and not shit on by everybody else, I said a swear.
Damn it, you beat me to it. I was about to say, damn it, I got him.
But if we get to a point where it's more accepted and understood that like, these things, they might be coming in and trying to make money off BMX, but if we can take them for everything they're worth in a trade for that, like it's worth it. I did want to address something that Johnny in the chat said. He said, you have an interesting outlook, on BMX. Since you're a rider making content you enjoy making rather than putting out content for sponsors to push sales and free advertisement. So that's one thing I'm never going to wrap my head around as who I am, because everything that I do is because I want to do it. and because I love doing it. And when you hear when you hear professional riders talking about how like they compete and they make edits and they do the things they're doing because they understand that it's their job and like that's part of their job, and yeah, they enjoy doing it, but they understand it's their job. Like, I'm never going to be able to wrap my head around that because I just enjoy doing every single one of those things in every aspect of BMX because it's who I am. So like I have a hard time with that subject because of the fact that it's just like I would be doing exactly what I'm doing even if nobody cared or watched.
I think you don't have a problem with that. I think you got a lot of people. I mean, you have so even the one comment I was looking at, was it 350-125? He was talking about how he just got into it. He got his son who's 5, or what is it? He's turning 5 in May. He's talking about how they've been watching your videos. I mean, like I said, like that's someone new. They caught on to you. I mean, probably just searching through BMX videos. I mean, pretty much you oh, that could be COVID. No, no, but yeah, I mean, even simple things like I said, like one person. All it takes is to get one person involved, and then they're just going to say, "Hey, did you look at this video?" And then that's how it's really word of mouth. Your channel's more word of mouth than I think more people realize.
I have no idea.
I think more people just talking about. All right, over at one of my local parks here, we have what's called Sandy Hills or the Lansdowne Bowl. We also call it the Downer, and it's one of the oldest skate parks on the East Coast.
Okay.
Turns 45 years old this year. It's that old. We're having a jam in October. I think it's this October. Anyway, you can go there, and we have more people who are. Well, I'll sit there with like our buddies Adam and Dustin and all that, and we'll be like, "Hey, so." On Brant's channel the other day, and people are like, Brant who? And it's like, so you introduce them, and that's how people get sucked into the new channel because they realize it's not just riding, it's informative, whether it be news to you come up with it, news, tech trip, you get what I'm saying. I can't, it's just fucking D words. But funny. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's pretty good, like you're doing good though. I mean, like I said, like for everything you're doing on the channel, I think it's good. I want to see one day. I want to see you put Victoria on and make you into a mermaid, though.
Oh God! Don't put that into the universe.
I want to see it just once. Just once. Just once. We got to see it. I want to see you all makeup out. I mean, everything. I want to see full merman.
100,000 subscribers.
You got 50. You're gonna be a while.
Hey, that's why I said it.
Watch, this will be when it bumps up now.
Oh, dude, that's.
But funny. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm running out of questions to ask you.
That's okay. It's just, I mean, I appreciate the fact that you even wanted to do this. Oh, let's see, Ride Fly. His name's Tony Dower. He's from down by Columbus. He said, I met Brant years ago when he was a newer rider. Tony, you met me when I had been riding for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like it's good. I mean, like I'm because how old are you now, Brant?
29.
Okay, so yeah, I've almost got 10 years on you. I'm 37. I got guys that are watching now that are older than me in their 40s, and again, it's that gap thing. Even though there's a gap in the age, you got kids in their teens and younger. Like I said, one guy's 5-year-old. He was just saying. My son actually occasionally he'll watch. He likes watching all the jams. You had that jam at Chenga that you just put up.
Yeah.
He was watching that. He was watching like in the beginning when everybody was falling and stuff. And my son's just sitting there going, "Oh!" And like he's 7, so he's like, "Did you see that? Rewind that. We got to see that again." And so, but like you cater to everybody. Like I sound like a broken record, but you have every age group. I mean, even you got that. What's his name? Dustin Reese.
Yeah.
Even what's he? 50 what now?
50 something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing it. I mean, you got a really good range, dude. I mean, not many people can say, "Hey, I got a channel." What do you cater to? BMX? Well, like what age group? All of them.
Well, it's just I just treat everybody exactly the same, no matter who they are or how old they are or how long they've been riding or anything like that. I mean, I've always been that way, even when it comes to, legends in BMX, where I treat literally everybody exactly the same. In yeah.
That's good though, dude. That's good. Like I said, I don't think you need to change anything. I think what you're doing is good. I mean, I think I want to see you do some more front brake stuff.
Oh, I literally just put my front brake bike on the indoor trainer today, so I can use it for exercise in the house.
All right, then I want to. If that's the then if
It's
it's not
there.
front brakes, I want to see toothpick stalls in your future.
I do toothpicks sometimes.
In the next month or so, I want to see a toothpick stall. I want to see it on a spine or something.
Can I go from a lucky because I can't straight tooth?
You can go however you want, but as long as you come in from it.
Okay, because dude, for some reason I'm just blocked when it comes to going into a straight toothpick. But from a lucky, I can get into them decent these days.
Yeah, I'm just terrible at ice picks on quarters, dude. I cannot do it. To save my life, there's no. I don't know if because I'm shit footed to begin with.
Uh-huh.
I'm your stance. I'm left foot forward, but I spin naturally the opposite way.
Oh yeah.
But I can spin both ways, no problem. Like I'm very ambidextrous. That's why I got my pegs on. I have all four pegs, and it's because when I first started, I was spinning the opposite direction of all my friends. They were all lefties, and I
Mm-hmm.
was a righty. And it got to the point all the spots were like down ledges on the left, down
Oh
rails on
yeah.
the. And so I was like, I got tired of getting left out, so I put pegs on the left, and I was like, I'm going to learn this one way or the other. And then everyone's like, well, why are you spinning with your front foot? Because that's my direction I spin it. You spin with your back. I ended up learning a 180 switch before a regular because I was told I was doing it wrong.
That's
And
funny.
so then all my switch grinds became my natural grinds because that's what. And I was like, okay. And then it was very hard. So I'm very ambidextrous because I learned to spin things on hips both ways. That's why like if you ever watch a lot of my videos or like even on my channel, if you watch some of the stuff I do things both ways, but no one ever pays any mind to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think as I do it so much, no one ever says, "Oh, that switch." Like it's hard to tell sometimes. Even when I go back, like I did do that switch, right? Yeah, So, but yeah, I mean, it's fun just to see everyone's styles now. I mean, you do a lot of variety of styles on your channel. I'll give you that.
I try.
I mean,
Man,
you
I
gotta.
just want to do everything.
I mean, that's cool. Does Victoria ever ride with the girls when you?
She, like, my trails bike is technically her bike.
Yeah.
She has a tendency to get hurt, so she just kind of she'll just cruise around, but she doesn't actually like try to jump anything. She'll just like roll over ramps. Um,
Go have her hang out with Angie and all them, and we should have them do a separate thing, like have a vlogger's girlfriend's vlog. Just have the day Victoria stole the camera and took off.
oh, that's funny. 350125 said more how-to videos for old beginners, please. Be more specific in what you'd like to see because I have most of the basics out there. So if there's something that you're looking for, just let me know and I can try and end up making it. And what's really cool is that there's a new skate park going in the town that we moved to, and it's gonna be pretty close, so I will be able to go and just like in the middle of the day sometimes film those types of videos even easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like it's. I don't know how many more questions I can come up with on my head.
Hey,
I had
you're
a
good,
list.
man.
I threw it. I threw the list somewhere. I don't know where the hell I put it. I think my dog actually came in and took it.
That is funny.
But
how to break
yeah, I mean,
fears. That's interesting.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, like I'm trying to even get my son. He's 7, so it's hard to keep him in just BMX or whatever. He's having a spring break right now, so he's just all about friends and whatnot and just hanging out, which is fine. But he knows once it's warm, we go to the park. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got his own little group of friends. My only problem I can't figure out is I can't get him to stand when he's riding. I
Hmm.
tried everything. It's just he refuses. He's like, I mean, he can do it, but he just doesn't do it all the time. I'm like, it's so much easier. Just stand, dude, stand.
That's interesting. Hmm.
And so I told him maybe I'll get him to stand and take a seat off.
Yeah.
He'll have no choice, but that'll be the time he slips and falls and gets sucked into that back wheel. Then I
Ugh.
gotta hear from the wife, and
Yep. You took
you're
his
gonna have a
seat
little.
off?
You're gonna have a little Brant more one day, little BM.
The world. I don't know. I just don't know.
You could have a little Brant more or a little merman.
Oh. Let's get to 100K and make me the merman first.
I'm gonna hold you. We're gonna pull this video up in like 3 years. And I'm gonna be like, Brant, remember this? You have to do it.
Hey, I said I would shave my head if I ever got to like 10 million. So let's remember those things, and I'll do it.
And hopefully by then you don't have a receding hairline, right?
That's funny.
So, but yeah, I mean,
If you don't have anything else,
I really don't. I wish I did. I'll probably think of it the second we hang up.
That's okay.
Because I'm very consistent at inconsistency, so that's a form of consistency.
No problem.
I think that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I really don't have much else for you. I mean, like I said, I think you answered. I mean, it's just I think this was a good way for people to see a little more of you, like the outside, like even mentioning like what you subscribe to in your channel. I think it opens up so people don't have like a one-track specific mindset when, hey, did you hear about Brant Moore? Now they're like, oh, Brant is a hunter. Brant does do that. I mean, like people follow your stories on Instagram stuff, but I feel like this is like maybe a way to others to get to know you, just you a little better.
Yeah.
Because you do all these interviews, dude, and you do a great job, but sometimes it's hard to be the one that's being interviewed.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I appreciate you having this idea, and thanks for thinking of all those questions and being the one to make it happen.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, like, hopefully we can have it where somebody else interviews you one day. Maybe
that
they'll
would
have
be cool.
We'll have to get you with like a little kid, like another subscriber. We'll have one of like every age group. We'll have. So I guess I'm considered mid-school.
Huck needs to interview me.
Yeah, we'll have Huck do it like next week, and then we'll have like Dustin Reese or something like that. We'll have him interview you, or get someone overseas. Get Rob Ridge.
That would be fun. Yeah, I'll try to figure out how to keep this going. But for now, Victoria's texting me, and I think she needs me. So let's.
Oh, you're fine. She's got the makeup getting set up for that merman.
Well, she thinks she hears something, so I'm gonna be the.
It's the new place. It's the place settling. That's what it is. It's no one coming in the back door.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go check on that, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody who watches, and everybody be here in exactly 12 hours for the news.
Awesome. We'll see you then. All right, but thanks again, Brant.
Yes, thank you, and